You're listening to the Retro Mo Podcast. I'm your host, Mo, and I love to play and review old video games and a few new games too. If you prefer to read instead of listen, check out my written reviews at retromo.substack.com. In this episode, I'll be sharing my experience with Kirby's Dream Land for the Game Boy, released in 1992. I've scored this 7.5 out of 10. A good game. Where it all started. Short, but fun. This is where it all started. Masahiro Sakurai, the creator of Kirby and the Super Smash Bros. Games, first introduced us to the puffy pink warrior in Kirby's Dream Land. Oddly enough, Kirby's design was originally intended to be a placeholder for another character named Popopo. But Sakurai thought the round placeholder design was a better fit for the character he had in mind. Shigeru Miyamoto once stated that the name Kirby was chosen in honor of a lawyer named John Kirby, who represented Nintendo in an important lawsuit. Sakurai always envisioned Kirby as being pink in color, though Miyamoto favored the color yellow. Apparently, the final color either wasn't finalized or hadn't been communicated clearly to the North American team, which needed to release the game in North America, so they portrayed Kirby as he appears on screen, white, like a ghost. It's difficult for me to review Game Boy action games, since I came late to the Game Boy party and had a strong preference for RPGs like Pokemon anyway. But that being said, Kirby's Dream Land is fun. It's surprisingly smooth and well-programmed. Sakurai's genius can be seen straight from the get-go here. There's no copy abilities in this one, but Kirby's classic inhale-exhale gameplay and flying feel just right. My first ever Kirby game was Kirby Superstar for the SNES, so it's hard to go backwards. But I really enjoyed seeing all of the long-standing characters, enemies, bosses, worlds, gameplay mechanics, and Ishikawa's legendary melodies that came from this little gem. There's virtually no in-game story, except for some brief cutscenes at the end. However, as was common in days of old, you can read some story context from the game manual, which I have pictured on my Substack if you want to check it out. Most Game Boy games were very short, due to the limited cartridge space and the added expense of including a save battery. Most games were designed to be played on the go, in short bursts. However, Kirby's Dream Land is very, very short. I blasted through this game in about 35 minutes. And experienced players can breeze through this game in less than 25 minutes. In spite of the short length, it's a solid Game Boy game. I recommend that fans of the Kirby series spend a mere half an hour experiencing the release that started it all. Thanks for listening to the Retro Mo Podcast. As always, I do my best to keep all of my content spoiler-free and rated E for everyone. If you find this podcast enjoyable or helpful, tell a friend and consider giving a 5-star review on your favorite podcast app. If you have questions or comments, you can send an email to retromopodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Godspeed.